All right. 16 teams arrived in Traverse City, but only 6 still have a chance to claim the national champion title. It's day 5 in the first round of the playoffs of the USA Curling Mixed Doubles National Championship. I'm Dean Gemmel, and I'm joined for this game by Tyler George. And Tyler, we've got a great matchup here today. John Shuster and his partner Aileen Geving against Daniel Casper and his partner Vicky Persinger. You know a lot about, especially John Shuster. What do you expect to see here today?
Well, John, obviously no stranger to playoff competition and national championships. Dean, he's won enough of them that I got to take my shoes off to count, I believe. But, yeah, Aileen has won plenty of her own, too. And we expect championship-level competition from both sides of this game. All 4 of them have experience at the world level, not just the national level. So expect a lot of points in a tightly contested matchup.
Shuster, of course, a 5-time Olympian in the team event. Vicky Persinger was in the last Olympic Games with playing with Chris Plies. Here's a look at how the playoff round unfolds. Geving Shuster versus Persinger Casper. That's the game we're featuring today. Rhyme Smith versus the Hamiltons, Matt and Becca. That's the other game on the adjacent sheet. The winners here will advance to the top teams in their pools. That's TC Dropkin and Taylor Anderson and Ben Richardson. So teams in this have 3 wins to get to a championship. And with that, we'll get underway. Vicky Persinger with the opening stone here in this first end.
It's a little heavy. Tapping
Vicky, the 2022 Olympian in the mixed double squad, along with Chris Plies. Ton of experience in this discipline of curling, also on the women's side, too. Made one of the greatest shots I've ever seen in a mixed doubles game to get to the Olympics in 2022 up in Evelyn.
It was a terrific shot in that game when they beat Rich Ruonen and Jamie Sinclair in the final. Well-played game. And, they also, if people remember, they had to go to the qualifying tournament to earn their spot in the last Olympic Games. Certainly a pressure cooker there, maybe even more than the Olympics themselves, Tyler.
The trials always feel like the most pressure-packed tournament that you play in because you know what's on the other side. Now, obviously, you want to get on the podium at the Olympics, and I think it's kind of the same thing with the Nationals and the Worlds, too, where representing your country, just the experience of doing it, is something that you never forget. And no matter how many times you get there, it never gets old. So if you can get there, things don't go quite the way you want at the Worlds or Olympics, you still were there. You still represented your country. And watching somebody else do it instead of you is a pill that's really hard to swallow.
Here comes Casper, young Danny Casper. This is a new team, Casper and Persinger. Casper, one of our best young players, skipped his team to the runner-up finish in the 2023 men's championships, lost in the semifinal this year. Danny out of the Ardsley Curling Club in Ardsley, New York. Trying to carve this one over, Tyler.
Yeah, very well done there by Danny. That's exactly where you want that to be. And a situation we see so many times in mixed doubles, Dean, with rocks set up in a position where it's going to take multiple shots likely to move them off of shot. So it might be an early bail from Shuster and Geving with a run, if I know John like I believe I do.
Yeah, you certainly have some experience playing with John, of course. So, one of the things I find in national championships, whether it's mixed doubles or men's and women's, but probably especially the men's, John is so comfortable in this kind of event.
Whoa!
Trying to hold the line.
He's close.
What a shot by Shuster.
So
that's a tone setter right there, Dean.
Shuster starts off with the double. Raised double.
Look at the nerves. Doesn't he look like this is just too big a moment for him?
John's coach at this event is his wife, Sarah. So he told me that she's really busy tracking rocks and doing all the things good coaches do.
Yeah, I got to be honest, I'm impressed with what Sarah has done this week. I've looked at her notes and her booklet with charting the rocks and the shots during games. There's a lot of smiley faces and things like that too, but that's for positive reinforcement between the games. And having that type of attention to detail, I'm sure, something that she's used to seeing from John, and a lot of that is carried over for her too.
Casper just gets to the half in the button, about 3/4 buried.
I can
A
dig
really
it with
good
half.
spot there again.
I got an
from
inch
Danny.
of it.
Yeah.
So the guard's a rock higher now. So you have to throw it too hard to throw your hacks.
It's been fun to watch Danny Casper evolve as a player from a teenager who was growing about 3 inches a month to the fearless competitor he is now.
Yep. Whoa. Close. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Yep.
A little tight to the guard, but gets
Right,
by
do it. Keep
fairly
going. Big
easily.
roll, big roll, big
Be a
roll.
Hit and roll away.
Big roll. Go, go,
John
go, go.
trying not to leave too easy a roll back. Sitting 2. And Dean probably an attempt at a double now as
Sure.
opposed to the roll because they don't have hammer.
Casper asks for Vicky to Persinger to sweep this one rather than hold the
Normal.
broom. We see teams change according to how they're feeling on a particular shot.
Stay right about there.
John suggesting they'd like to watch the line here. Casper trying the out-turn double.
No. Curl.
Such a steady
No.
delivery from Danny, too. It's something him and his teammate, Vicky Persinger, both have. A very repeatable
curl,
delivery.
curl,
Not a
curl.
lot of moving parts.
Shot.
Going to get it over the top.
Yeah, good adjustment there. They were trying to play that to the inside, but
Good shot, Danny.
called correctly by Vicky and by Danny.
Casper and Shuster have come to know each other fairly well. I think John helped Danny with a position at Allianz, if I'm correct.
I think 30.
Yeah, probably. See if I can get down to that number. Is it middle, like middle 12? Or not quite?
Almost.
Okay.
$29.
Really soft. I think you can clean it. That room right now. It's good though. Line's okay, but it's curl if anything.
Schuster trying the out-turn draw
Keep in
here.
front of the tee. It's way out there.
Shot
Thinks
more.
it's got a lot of
You
room,
can
so
go, but don't put it behind the tee. Keep in front of the tee. Keep in front of the tee. Or
it's
on
going to
it.
settle in just
Alright.
below the
Okay,
tee
then.
line or just on the tee line.
I think a little less finished than they expected there, too, Dean, but
We saw
little bit of a
earlier
teaser.
today with more curl on one side of the sheet than the
I
other.
guess yours went right by.
Little taps, okay.
I remember when Chris Plies played with Persinger, he referred to her as a gamer, and I think that's true.
Yeah, I like that.
Certain people have a competitive edge to them that serves them well.
I don't think anybody would question that assessment of Vicky Persinger. Every shot in the book, that's the biggest thing with Vicky is, yes, she's a pressure player. She can make any shot at any time.
So here's Persinger, the native of Alaska, with her team's last shot in this opening end. Geving Schuster lying one.
Click there.
Wait. Where is it?
Back 4.
Whoa.
Coming down though.
Whoa, whoa. You
Back
gotta let
8.
it drop.
Back 8.
Needs to turn over
No,
right
no,
now. A
no,
long
no.
ways to
Whoa.
go.
Danny, no.
Really needs to start to carve here. This could be problematic, I think.
That's just going to chip off and roll away. One thing with Vicky is if there's any flaw, it might be that she tends to be a little bit of a slow starter.
Try to move that,
But
you know?
once things start
You like
to
the
turn
what?
for
I like the hit.
I do too. It's just
Obviously.
so fast right now, and you can just take
Right,
she's
room
going on all cylinders. But that one again hangs out a little
Two-thirds of
bit,
the stone with a
so
nice
it'll be an
11,
open
I
hit for
think.
2.
Seems the way the rocks
Especially this
finish
outcome
that
where
even
you
though
rotate.
that's maybe the straighter
You probably
side, I felt like she might have been able to dig that out. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, it's possible.
Of course, the freeze puts them in a position to steal. So,
Well, this is last shot, too.
well, this is last shots now for Aileen. I was thinking of Vicky's
It's really
last. Eileen Geving now with her last. This is a shot to draw for 2.
Yes, could have been dug out. Yes.
It was a bit revisionist, I admit. Would have been a better comment earlier. So Eileen's just going to hit and stick. So there it is, a hit and stick for 2. Schuster Geving open with 2. They'll take a 2-0 lead into the second end. We'll be right back.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
We're back, second in action, 2024 USA Curling Mixed Doubles Nationals. The other game on the adjacent sheet, it's Kim Rime and Jason Smith, who's finished second in their pool against Matt and Becca Hamilton, who came through a tiebreaker game against Sarah Anderson and Andrew Stopera. That was earlier today at 3:30. So no update there yet, but we will provide that as soon as we have one. So a typical John Shuster start. You know, Tyler, I often joke that when John plays in the men's nationals, he starts with a 2-0 lead against most teams. Well, he's starting with a 2-0 lead in reality here.
He definitely had to earn it with this one. That run back on the center guard, losing both yellow stones that were frozen and raised from them as well. And then all of a sudden, you're playing the rest of the team with no danger. You get one
Mine's
half
good.
miss,
Wait for it.
and you're set up for a 2. So that weapon to be able
Plenty
to
of
make
room.
that run in the mixed doubles game, you never really feel
Lots of
like
room.
you're in too much trouble as long as you have that feel shot.
So this is Geving with her first in this second end. Geving and Shuster both out of Duluth, as is my colleague here in the booth.
Great start, Aileen.
Got a few curlers that have come out of our hometown, no question about that.
14.97.
Moving it a
Adopted
little is
son.
good.
John Shuster.
Like if you can get to nose.
Eileen, a lifer like myself.
Is it? I'm saying. it's
Shuster,
just
for
like
people who don't know, grew up in Chisholm, Minnesota.
Freeze is okay.
It really, Dean,
I got
for
14.8 there, yeah. So.
haven't really
Watch
mentioned
that
it this
sit
week,
pretty
but I
hard.
think it, and I told Eileen that we'd be doing this tonight too, that her father passed a short while ago, Seppo Sormanen, a well-known in all curling circles, senior champion, but many times Spiel champion. He's in the Duluth Curling Club as long as I was there too, and you know, the outpouring of support from the Duluth curling community and all across the country for Eileen and her family. I know Anita's watching the night too, and we've all been so touched, and I know the Sorman and Geving families have been too. What Seppo meant to us, you know, in the curling world, and his loss is felt all around, and we just wanted to give our
How much did it get in there?
condolences
Full
officially
eight,
here too on the broadcast. Myself from
Okay.
USA Curling.
think it probably
Seppo
has to be
sorely missed, and
Try to get
Eileen
all
said
the
she's
way
going to be
to
playing in the
our
second to
house.
last chance
Short
this
spot.
year, skipping House of Hearts for one of the best reasons I've ever heard. That she's trying to defend the title that her and her dad won the previous 2 years at that event up in Grand Rapids. So
It was really soft. and I was
we'll be cheering for you up
decelerating.
there, and
And we haven't been over here yet, so just.
again, our
Line's a
heartfelt
little
condolences
tight,
to
but it's
the
okay,
Sorman
I
family.
think.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tyler. I certainly didn't know Seppo
so-
as well as
yep,
you did,
no
but
choice.
I had at
Hard!
least 2 fairly lengthy conversations with Seppo and found him just to be a
Hard
true
line!
gentleman and, you know, loved curling and really enjoyed
Okay, well-
those conversations.
One of the best curling minds I've ever met, too. Just so smart about the game. Always, you know, focused on the small details that others may not pick up on.
Shuster bounces off. Shuster giving lie 1 at the moment.
On this side.
And it appears that Casper will make a play on this guard.
See if Danny can answer John's run from the first end. Awfully close here.
It is close.
To the yellow one.
Moves a lot of stones. Rolls for a corner guard.
That's not particularly bad result still, even though it lost the yellow stones.
almost
It does
killed the
open the
corner.
middle up and
But
clears
I'm
the
running
forefoot
it at
up
that
as
rock,
well.
And if I ever hit it like dead jam, it would look
And
really
as you
dumb.
said, Dean, a corner guard too. So not a bad
I
result
mean,
for
regular curling is probably
Danny Casper on that throw.
It's probably
What do
just
you
throw a
think
guard
of
in
this
front of it, but I just got to make sure I guard the side of the rolling under. I could peel the corner. I mean, I can bake that. I'd have to get really unlucky to dead stuff it. And even so, these are so flat, like their deuce is really tough. Let's just peel the corner.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we heard John will do a lot of the announcing for us. So
Yeah,
does it there too. He worked through everything.
This is the more traditional TSN three-man crew for the broadcast
Hard.
with John.
Hard! Uh-oh. Hold your breath. Oh, we're good.
A little worried about the jam in the back, and as he settled in the hack and said, I'd have to get really unlucky, that's always sometimes a harbinger of bad luck.
Kind of thinking that one.
But avoids the jam.
You
Yeah.
like something softer like board?
Yeah.
So now Casper will try to hit and roll to the wing. Like to roll behind that redstone. Of course, it would leave a relatively short run, but
And singular to mixed doubles curling, Dean.
Little heavy.
A lot of times in this situation, you might see a team take a run at
Control.
a flat double or try to set up a double to get their blank, but the blank does you no good in mixed doubles as the hammer switches teams when there's no scoring in an end. So they're still going to go hard to try to find a 2 if they can.
people who were listening to me on this webcast earlier might recall me suggesting the team should have looked at blanking an end before being reminded of mixed
They're
doubles
just going to throw
rules.
intern
So
peel at it.
There's a lot of things you got to pay attention to.
There's a
You
lot
got to
going
watch
on,
the
Tyler.
game. You got to do ad reads. You got to remember rules from different disciplines of curling. A lot of ins and outs here.
USA Curling Chief Umpire Susie Sarnetsky back there.
Yep.
Part of our officiating crew here in Traverse City.
She knows the rules.
She does.
Yeah,
Very people often come to me and say, "Oh, you'll know this rule," and I often have to say, "No, I'm not the chief umpire."
No roll, no!
I might have laughed a little too hard at that. I don't know.
No, it's fair.
I've seen you have those discussions
got off that
before.
thing
And
and it
the laughter's
turned
more
hard,
about
almost like it
watching you have to deal with it than it is about whether or not you actually know the rule.
Yeah. I was a field player, Tyler, so I was a field player in the rules too. Casper now will try this freeze after Shuster rolls nicely to the wing.
That is a much better opportunity to try to get a 2 with this freeze now if Danny can lock one on.
Rolling already.
Okay, it's really heavy.
The thing that
Coming down
makes
now.
it
Stay with it.
comfortable for
Little tap right now.
Casper and
Almost
Persinger,
back
they're not,
line. It's really heavy.
they don't see a
Always straight. Whoa.
2 might seem tough, but they're certainly not in danger of giving up a steal in this end.
Just under curls a hair and a little
It's really
bump
heavy,
and
sorry.
the open hit for
Came down really hard, like. Well, it's
Aileen
not
Geving?
maneuverable.
I think it's a little slower this way.
Yeah.
Well, they're talking about it being a little slower towards the glass, and I think that's something we've seen all week, Tyler.
the entire week.
I think
Yep,
those
no
cars are
surprise
gonna
on that. I know that Aileen and John were aware of that going into the game from
Dead nose is really
speaking
good.
with them before the game started, so no surprise for them. I'm not sure on Vicky or Danny's end if that's the case.
We're really happy with the surface here. Head ice tech Sean Olson here and the terrific crew here in Traverse City to work with. And I think it's been productive for them as well. They've learned a few things about their building.
Nice throw, Aileen.
Geving, no mistake here. She'll hit and roll out.
Yeah, it does roll out, but played a little firm weight to make sure in the outside ice that the rock ran well, and the kill was the most important thing. The final shot doesn't change a lot for
15?
Vicky Persinger.
Might
So just
call
play
that
safe.
a somewhat defensive throw, but certainly
No, I mean,
something you
they're
should do
14-8,
in that
they stared
moment.
at the whole
Sure.
time and it was
No
good,
reason to
so.
flirt with over curling and giving up a cheap 2. So Vicky Persinger will need the 8-foot here to score 1 in the second end. She'll throw the intern draw.
Okay,
Be very
I think
careful
it's
with
there
that.
right now.
Be very careful. Play
Come
it
down
in.
now.
Don't.
Just needs to touch the 8-foot with this final draw.
You
And
take
it's
off the
gliding
red.
right now. If it hasn't started turning by the hog line,
yes or
Dean, it's
no?
trouble on
Yes.
this ice.
Yes!
Looks like they need a
Casper thinks
piece.
he needs a piece. I don't
And-
know if he's going to get it, though.
Yeah,
Nope,
that's
he's
just
not.
a heave by Vicky there. No
That's
surprise.
trouble. That's going to be a steal of 2 for Schuster Geving. Too late to get the rub. And Schuster Geving out to an early 4-0 lead. Not the start Casper and Persinger were hoping for. That's the end of the second end. We'll be back with the third end. But first, let's talk about Steve's Curling Supplies, America's #1 curling equipment supplier. For over 50 years, they've been proud to support USA Curling. And no matter your skill level or budget, they have all the top products from the most popular brands in the sport. Right now, you can save $10 on any purchase of $100 or more when you use the code USA Curling 10. That's USA Curling 10 at checkout. Visit them at stevescurling.com for all your curling needs. Grateful to have all our sponsors, including Steve's Curling Supplies. All right, so there's scores. Our game, feature game, 4-0. Geving Shuster up early as Persinger slides through the rings against 2. Kim Rhyme and Jason Smith, they're up 1-0 over Becca and Matt Hamilton, 2018 Olympians in this discipline. And the winner of a tiebreaker game against Andrew Stopera and Sarah Anderson earlier this afternoon. So lots of momentum here for Geving and Shuster. That said, mixed doubles, topsy-turvy game, Tyler.
How's the line?
Yeah, 4-point lead,
Yeah, that's
and
good to
men's
hear.
or women's probably would feel a little more insurmountable than in the mixed doubles game. 2s are like 1s and 3s are like 2s in mixed doubles. So this probably feels more like a 3-point deficit somewhere in there. If you can get a 2, you feel like you're back in it, and 3 at any time, again, even if a team is playing slightly
Aileen.
defensively, not the same
bad.
as
So
men's
in
or women's.
turn
So
and get to the corner
kind of
of
have
it.
to keep your foot on the
I
pedal,
shouldn't have taken it click. I should
and
have
that does give
needed
your
it.
opponent opportunities
Yeah.
to score
Up 4.
multiple point ends.
So Geving into the top of the 4-foot, a hair shorter than Shuster would have liked it. He apologized for not sweeping it harder. And here comes Vicky Persinger. She'll try to sit on the corner of that stone.
A little light.
Although curling stones don't have corners, being round, but we
Top
always
8.
say that.
Top 4.
Always straight. Really curling hard now.
The old corner freeze on the round object, right?
Top
Absolutely. Casper thinks it's top 4. It's running a little bit more than that, maybe. Needs to settle in right there. It's close.
Yeah, that particular line, Dean, is the fastest one on this sheet, too. And ends up settling in nicely for Danny there, but
Pretty good
or for
angle.
Vicky with Danny sweeping. You like to think that after watching 13 games on this sheet that I'd have a pretty good read on how it's going to run. As long as Sean
I don't think
Olison,
we really
head
need to
Iceman
tap
for
anything, but we could tap
USA
ours on the
Curling,
nose,
doesn't
it'd probably be okay. So
throw a wrench in
I'm trying to
things.
just freeze.
Got a pretty good idea where these stones are going to go.
Schuster's first here in this third end.
25.
Okay, easy then.
T-line.
Right off then.
Just
Line's
a tap
way out there,
attempt
too.
here
It's
for
curl of
Schuster.
anything.
Top 4.
Gives you
It's
some
way
idea
out
of the
there
speed
line-wise.
of this surface. I
Got
think
a mile
that's
of curl still.
4.25 to the tee line.
You can get it
As
to
a
the nose, it'd be
split.
sweet. I don't think you're getting there though.
I definitely
Yep,
know
go past
it's
ours.
not 3.25.
Not today, no. We're good on 4.25. Does
My bad,
tap,
Aileen,
but
sorry.
undercurls a little bit and leaves a
Okay.
pocket if they want to try for it.
I don't mind the roll.
Like
Whatever
back
you're
here.
seeing.
What's that?
Whatever you're seeing.
Just for now.
Okay.
If you end up rolling, that's fine, but we'll go for the straight draw.
So I think down 4. This is probably a smart call, Tyler.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him try to chip that red stone in the 8-foot back a little bit and roll over. It's going to set up some jams for you if they try to bail and
Okay,
roll.
wait's okay.
Yep.
So if you can move that stone back, I think that
Eight,
improves your
back 4.
chances of getting a 3
Back
or
8
4.
even. Pretty heavy.
Yeah, I think the idea here is look for that 3.
Yes!
If something bigger sneaks out, great. Well, he's probably going to end up with the shot you might have called.
That's really good.
That is really good.
Back 4. Susie, I'm trying to learn how to sweep.
I think I can lose these
I mean,
both
it,
just peeling
it
this.
passed through the back
Even if it
4
clips
at
ours on
some
the way
point
back,
on
right?
the
But they
tap.
both go flying.
True.
Now Schuster thinks both yellows will go
If I wreck
here.
the guard, it's not the end of the world. So
Yeah.
maybe I do need to run it. No, I got plenty. I
don't
think.
think you need
Let me
to.
just look in the hack.
Well, I
He's
guess
looking
I
to
guess.
see how much he can
Yeah.
see from the
It looks-
hack. I
think
would
have
say it's
enough.
a
I mean,
thin
it'd be
quarter.
crappy to hit too thick and have it stick in the house, but or too thin. I mean, but I think I can. Therefore, I will. I guess. All right.
I think I can, therefore I will, I guess. Contemplative thoughts from
Yep.
John Schuster, getting inside his brain. Always a fun
Hard!
place to be.
talks through everything in his own head.
Whoa!
This is close, and it's, tickles.
That's fine.
Vicky and Danny
That
are
was
going
my
to talk
first
this
thought.
through.
I mean, it has,
Second, right?
yeah, kind of wait like control so that we kind of, if it goes here,
drag
kind
it.
of move it over. Yeah, and drag it.
Right here? And roll this way?
Yeah,
We're going to give them some
drag effect practice.
something.
Yeah.
So with 2 shots left for Geving and Shuster here, Dean, the question is if it's time to move that red stone, and I don't know that you want to wait one more. If anything, I think
Vicky,
you're
I think
leaving
even
it in the
like
back of
touching
the
the
house.
back one and just moving it out of the, in the open is good.
I think that's probably right.
Okay?
Well, he's going to make his way down there for yet another look.
It's gonna touch the yellow, right? Or no?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we don't
Well,
wanna.
we're going to leave it, but if it goes here, I just don't want to leave it behind.
You could also,
Yeah, but
the
at
rock
least
that
there's, like,
Vicky
this
just
run and
touched,
we'll
that
have a
you
few
could
rocks
tap
in
that
the
rock
house, and
back and try to
even if
roll
it
on top
kicks,
of the other
maybe it'll
yellow.
kick a little bit
Instead
in
of
the
double
open.
freeze up to kick that red rock out, and
Like,
then
it'll
that
probably
makes it
just be
tougher
right
for
back.
John to lose
Going
more
for
yellow
this though,
stones.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they've settled on, Tyler. Do you know?
Oh, they pointed at a couple different ones, and hard to say.
Control.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing control, I heard, so they're going to try to clear that red stone right now.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of where they want to leave the shooter. I'm assuming they want to roll all the way out wide, try to get under the corner.
Casper here in the third end. They're trailing 4-0 early, trying to score at least 3 here and get themselves back in the game.
Carol.
Yeah, this needs to
Gotta
curl to
go.
stick around. Don't want to roll out. It does roll out, and I think those top 2 will be leaving the premises pretty quickly.
I mean, I got to make sure they both go.
Right.
I mean, nose probably gets them, but I got to err on the side of high side of nose.
Right.
Like, so I can hit them anywhere, and those 2 go flying on
Yep.
not cross. So I don't know, like, it's even worth, like, just give them their 2, because
Yeah,
the only way they're getting more than 2 is if I don't hit that second one out.
Getting rid of 2.
But I'm going to try to keep it in the 8.
Danny mentioning the drag effect.
But erring on the side of rolling out, of course.
Shuster thinks he might be able to get this double, almost knows, but he certainly wants to make sure and hit a little high side.
Yeah, this is kill
Close.
mode. As long as you
Close.
clear both those stones, there's really no danger of giving up
Fine.
more than 2, and they're fine with that with a 4-point lead. So there really isn't anywhere that you could throw this stone that there isn't going to be an open hit.
Did get some excitement in the crowd here in Traverse City with the way those rocks reacted. Terrific new facility here in Traverse City,
Take plenty of
Michigan. We're
line,
grateful
yeah.
to be here. And they have been terrific hosts. This facility opened just about a year ago. There's a shot of the one of the private event areas. I'll tell you what, it was quite a charcuterie board over there, Tyler.
It looks that way,
It
man,
was-
alive.
It was a lot of charcuterie on that one plate.
Yeah, the spread back here is a chocolate chip cookie and a Diet Dr. Pepper right
Yeah,
now.
it's a little
Okay.
skimpier. Here goes Casper though, trying to go around this corner guard.
T-line. T-line. Back 4. We go all the way to the back one.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be careful here.
Gotta
If
go to
this
the back
gets
one, I think.
all the way back, could be a double. Now they want it to be really deep to make sure that
Thinking
there's
about
no
just
double attempt.
Freezing on the back, doesn't want to tap it out.
Tricky.
Yeah, still will just be a hit and probably try to roll in front of that
You
yellow.
can be dead buried over here too and be shot.
And
So
normally
you have
being
like
on
a
these types of
edge
shots
on
in
edge
men's
to
or
dead
women's
buried, even
curling,
poking out the other
you're going to
side
get
3/4.
really aggressive at the roll here because the difference between the nose
To me, this
hit
looks like
and
an
rolling
outturn.
out really isn't that big because executing an open hit in 4-person curling
throw
is
what you did last
pretty
time,
easy
like
at the
right
highest
at the edge of the
levels.
rock. I mean, grab
With
around the
2-person
center line
curling
and
with
curl, but,
mixed
like, I think
doubles,
we
there's a
were
higher
running nice and straight.
probability that there's a rollout on a wide open shot.
Sure.
So you're not going to go
draw.
quite as hard at the roll. You'd still like to get it, but it's not really an all or nothing call. If it ends up being no's, it's still not a bad result.
Aileen Geving, her last shot, her team's last shot here in the third end.
Close. Yep.
Casper thinks it's close to the roll.
On roll.
Oh, that's really good from
Beauty, Aileen, that a
And you
girl.
can just make it too.
Really good. It shows the outside, but it will just
Great
jam
shot.
on the yellow.
Yeah,
So
I'm okay
And I
with
think
that.
the way that it turns over going to the outside, you can bump that out for two.
just far
Right
enough.
through, and if we need to curl it, just
But
like one.
got to get pretty
You know,
close to
give
the
me a
guard.
sweeper, hold-
We'll listen in to see if they agree.
Like you can throw it to just like sweep it the whole way, and
I think that's pretty tough to get it to curl over there.
okay, we can just take one if you want. But
I mean, it's
if you throw the weight that I threw, it's there. But
yeah, you're sitting curl a ton though past the guard.
okay, yeah, we can.
I'm just gonna.
Sorry,
I'm just wondering if I throw my draw in that direction.
that was kind of how I figured you just
Okay.
throw it
I'm just
anyways.
gonna throw for the draw.
Yeah, yeah.
So talked it through, maybe a little bit in between two shots here, Tyler, which can be difficult sometimes, but they think, you know, they're going to have to get close to the guard, and they're thinking it will finish just enough. So
Yeah, I don't like the way they called this shot at all. This is not an either-or shot because the weights that you have
Don't
to
worry about
play
feeling it.
between the two are about 6 feet apart at least.
true enough.
So to tap that rock out on
This is
this
trouble.
Oh,
line,
wait.
Okay.
yeah, I think her weight's fine for draw, but I mean, unless you like this path for the draw, there's really no reason to throw it on that line because you're never throwing enough weight to tap it out. If you're saying we're throwing draw or
Yeah, when you
tap it out, the weights just aren't close enough to each other to make that shot.
True enough. But she'll settle in for one, Vicky Persinger. That makes the score 4-1 in favor of Geving Shuster after 3 ends. It's time to talk about Warm Room Hero, one of our webcast sponsors. Warm Room Hero is more than just software. They're run by curlers dedicated to building long-term relationships with your club. They provide continuous support to ensure your website exceeds your members' expectations. Check out Warm Room Hero today at curling.club. That's Warm Room Hero at curling.club. They're terrific sponsors of this webcast, and you do get special pricing as a USA Curling member club. We're back, 2024 USA Curling Mixed Doubles Nationals. You know what's going on in our game. It's 4-1 for Aileen Geving and John Shuster over Vicky Persinger and Danny Casper. Kim Rhyme and Jason Smith are out to an early 3-0 lead over Matt and Becca Hamilton. So we'll keep an eye on that score as this progresses.
It never needs to be
Top 8. Coming down.
Persinger and Casper with some work to do to get themselves back into this game. Both on this one.
Yeah.
Going to come up a little bit short.
That's right too, but yeah,
But
still
certainly
around.
not in a terrible position for mixed doubles.
Anything above the tee line, obviously better than behind in those types of situations.
It timed out perfect.
But an opportunity for Geving and Schuster to try to get around that
How's
stone.
line?
Try to
Pretty
sit
straight.
two and keep Persinger and Casper chasing as they have been for most of the first half
We're
of
by
this
the
game.
yellow right now.
Okay.
Straight
By how
go.
much? Straight,
Straight
okay.
go by.
And Dean, chasing in mixed doubles, not a fun thing to do because you don't get much time
Wow,
to do
the
it.
puke. Wow.
And there's your
Good spot
slower
for Rob.
coming back to the glass,
What they
turning
Absolutely
over.
puke.
John a little surprised by that, but they were commenting earlier in the game about how fast it was. Will be interesting to see if that early speed continues. I know they've been happy with the speed of the ice here. Casper.
T,
Stay close. Yep,
T.
line.
top 4.
Danny trying to get around these stones as well.
Whoa, close.
We'll see if that rock
Back 4.
carries enough to get there.
Back 4.
Whoa.
Says he's back 4 right
I
now.
don't think it's quite back
Gotta
4
get
yet.
by
Yes!
it. He is by now. Great shot.
Yeah, good read there by Vicky.
Yeah, wait, Judge John. Come on now.
Great scrub, dude. Great job.
Danny not afraid to get vocal with
Lot of
his
chitter chatter.
opponents.
We heard Danny at the men's nationals in New Jersey recently, and lots of fun to listen to him, and they had lots of
Oh, yeah.
banter back and forth. I love it.
Just a fuzz inside.
Danny's the
Just on fuzz
MVP
your
of the
side
live
nose
mic
thrown out.
during these games for the things in between the
And
shots.
get all 3 and roll right in front of our other one.
I don't think that Danny's dropped one in the swear jar yet this week either, which is pretty impressive.
Well, I said to the competitors at the start of the event, as I do it all, I say don't want to be in the business of fighting, just be
Shooter,
adults.
Shooter.
And I will say that I'm
I could've kept you on that.
unsurprised
We
that
almost
by
picked
and
the top of it
large
anyways.
our competitors are able to
Put it
All
back.
maintain their
Okay.
emotions and not get into the swear jar material. As someone who might have been in the swear jar material myself a bit as a player, I don't really want to. I want to treat people like adults.
You know, I wanted to name our swearing champion this week for most times on the mic the Natalie Nicholson Memorial Swear Jar Champ.
3, 2.
But then I remembered that Nat
right
never
now.
wore a mic because she
Curl.
refused to do it because of how many times she would swear during games. So
Curl.
it might be the Carrie Anderson
Keep going.
Memorial
Keep going.
All
Swear
right.
Jar
Keep
champion.
going.
Well, it is a sport, right? And
Yeah.
I think if people sometimes show their emotions, it's a good thing. So
We've had the same conversation with broom slams too.
yes, we have.
A rare one. You know, every once in a while to get something
can't
out of your
quite get to
system
the
isn't
double.
necessarily a bad
There is
thing.
probably a hole.
As
but it
long as
just
it's
goes
not a
stuck.
constant thing
So I think
where
I'm
it
playing
starts
this
to get a
double
little
here.
bit annoying or
Like
over
the
the
top
top.
two.
I
Like
tend
said,
to
I'm not
agree
sure
with
it's
that,
great.
especially if
At least
you're
it's our rock to run over.
you're absolutely right. If it's not
I can make
constant
this
and if
double
it's
in
also
probably
not
maybe
distracting to the
half
other
game.
team.
Let's just make this double.
All right, here comes Shuster now with Casper lying 1 on the button.
Close.
Schuster will try to run this
Yep.
yellow back. Came a
Hard.
little deeper maybe than
Whoa.
Casper would have
Whoa.
liked.
And nice shot by Schuster again. It's been sharp on the hit game, no question. Just looks like a walk in the park for Johnny.
Yeah.
Casper
I mean, it's
Persinger
a
will
tough
talk
spot
this
to be in
through.
a lot of bad places.
I mean, if we
Guard
go-
and let
they
them
totally.
let them play that though. And
Do
if
we?
you go here and they play that, you should have like a tap back, like a
I'm just
back
thinking
8.
if we go here, what is he gonna do?
I mean, if you're anywhere else though, like it's pretty rough. I get what you're saying. Like here's nice, but like I mean, he might even still do that. But
Okay.
like if we're here and they play that and stuff it, you should have plenty of room to throw like a little back 8 tap and sit shot.
I think it's gonna be really tough, but I mean, if that's what you see, I
I mean, would you rather go here?
that's a pretty tough spot to get to the way it curls.
So here.
I mean, they're just gonna blast it. I get that, but if we
You
go
like
here,
that, Dean? If you can get around that rock on the top of the 12s to stagger it
Yeah.
and dare them to
No,
play
I
that
mean, we're
run in.
definitely planning for him to
I
make it.
tend to
We
prefer
can
that,
tuck it and
Tyler.
make
How
them
about
make
you?
Something a little harder.
It's up to
Yeah,
you.
it's hard to
If you really
get
wanna
to
do
a
this,
freeze
fine.
on your own or a
draw's
tap
fine.
to freeze on your own on that path.
I think they've settled on a guard, and Danny's instinct here is that they'll leave them that slash, but he thinks Vicky should have enough room on her last.
Yeah.
She's not convinced, though, I don't think.
If it doesn't tuck, it's really bad.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Guard.
sure.
So what they're concerned about is the level of precision on on the Christmas tree. So they are going to guard.
Three.
Big shot.
Line's
These next
good.
series
Wait's
of
good.
shots, there's
Gotta get to
a
the line.
2 or a 3 lurking for Geving,
line.
Shuster, or
Curl. Curl.
Persinger and Casper might be able to
Curl.
steal somehow.
Hard. Hard, 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 hard. Right till it stops. Go, go,
Trying
go,
to
go,
work
go, go.
that over.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have left a port, but doesn't really matter. John's already
I mean, I
looking
can
at
play
this
it
short
soft.
little run in, and
People always have.
I mean,
like
I can
a-
play it soft, and then it's not quite as bad.
I think he's throwing
Like,
it
we
good
have a little
enough
more
right now,
control
Dean,
over
that
it.
he feels comfortable playing that
Because
shot.
right now this
The
whole
risk
stuff
is
too,
if
and I
you
rub
catch
it, they
this too
still have a
thin,
draw to lie too.
then it's a draw frozen sitting 2 underneath, so there is a little risk.
I could probably throw like a 10-5, hit it, and keep my shooter too.
This is a shot
I
you
only have to
only
hit it
play
in
if
five,
you
maybe.
really feel like
So
you're
maybe
going to
that's the
make
one that I
it
have
based on the
control over, that we have
scoreboard
control
right
over
now.
the sweep.
Over curls
just
or
like-
under curls
Just a shade high.
could be trouble.
Well, he's playing with confidence right now, throwing this in-turn angle run. Quiet weight here, quieter than some might play it with.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Curl, curl.
Don't want to be
curl.
wide on this
Easy.
shot.
Curl, curl, curl. Whoa, 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 straight. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, over curls at the end. So maybe Aileen got that one to dance a little more than John thought, but that is the path that we've seen
Curl
curl
more.
more
Can't
than
believe that
anywhere
went that
else,
far.
too.
My bad, Aileen.
Now there's a real opportunity for Persinger and Casper to steal, maybe even steal
Can't
2
believe
here.
that.
Yeah, I don't know that I really like the shot call, even if you're feeling really
I
good
threw it
about
out further
how
than I
you're
wanted
throwing
to.
it, just because this is the opportunity you can give your opponent to get back in the game.
Are you good with it?
Yep.
Anything they would have thrown that moved that
I
guard.
mean, you almost consider that open because that's
The
a shot
worst
you
case
threw,
is a
right?
steal of 1,
But I like-
because
I
there's
like
really
that.
nowhere you could go sit 2 where there's a danger of a steal of 2.
Well, they're probably playing the same run that they just threw, right?
I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying guard the run?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine too.
So have the out turn on the other one.
Well, I don't
have
know
the
that you
outturn
can
on
do
for
that.
the game.
That's leaving the outturn tap for a
Outturn tap
possible
for-
3.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the guard myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
we
come
just
around
let
to
it
top
draw.
8,
Make it
maybe
sweepable,
bite
yeah.
4 on the outturn side, and get inside of that run,
Yeah,
so
he
any
made
run
a
going
pretty
back
good
would
one
just
like
be to
this.
kill the top stone and not
Yeah.
both.
Down
That's a fair
4-1, I like lying 2 as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you can get this behind the guard to full 8 foot, then there isn't a run to that number 1 counter, really. It'd be pretty thin to try to get to the nose
A hair.
of the rock that's thrown right now. So you don't have to come all the way down and then leave the run to both stones.
I think that's what they've settled on. Persinger with the outturn draw.
Anywhere top 8 to top 4 is good here. If it does come all the way down to your own, then
top
pressure's on Geving to try to make that run.
Casper's saying top 8.
Top 4, weight's good.
Yep, I can't see.
Weight's
A
good,
little
line's
tight to the
good.
guard, but I think they're by it.
Yeah, it looks
Whoa.
good right now.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now they're to it. Now a little more
Curl it,
weight than
curl it.
maybe they thought.
Go, go,
They
go,
at least
go,
want to
go,
get
go,
dead
go,
to
go.
nose.
Yeah, you want it to cross a little bit, too.
Pretty good results.
Yeah, forcing him to play the other
The
run
same
now
one you
because
threw
that
2
got
years
across
ago?
the face of the
Like, I mean,
stone
this
an inch or
is-
2.
So a slightly longer
I mean, I think
run, a
this is that one
slightly
you kinda put
steeper
at the center of the
angle.
rock.
And that one's for 3, too, Dean, if they both spill. So
It's-
Yep.
it's
the other one, I
exactly-
don't know that the
it's-
shooter
it's
would
a
end up
thick
on the
half.
rings.
Half is actually probably good too. It's probably exactly half. This is the one we've been talking about getting ready to make.
Yep.
So throw good.
Big shot here.
Be my hero this
Geving trying to play this angle run for a possible 3 if it hits in the right spot.
Executes it perfectly, probably wins the game, Tyler. Here we go. Last shot, 4th end, Aileen Geving.
Close. Close.
Like maybe a little flare.
Clean. Pull.
Sounds like it's
Backing up.
close.
Yeah, just a little outward momentum on that release. You can see.
Little in out, and a steal of 2 for Casper and Persinger. And that brings the game much closer. So we've got a game for the last 4 ends, Tyler. It's 4-3 now. Shuster Geving over Persinger Casper. We're halfway
All right.
through fourth end break, and it's time for what we call the Broom Fitters break here at USA Curling's webcast. Broomfitters.com is the place for good curling gear and fast shipping on everything curling. For a limited time, take 10% off your first order with the code USA. Visit broomfitters.com. That's broomfitters.com. We'll be right back after the break with fifth end action.
Asking the hard-hitting questions that you want to hear. Welcome to On the Couch with Scott Strauss.
Welcome to Conversations on the Couch with Scott Strauss here at the fourth end break. Okay, rapid fire questions with Matt Hamilton. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Should toilet paper be hung over or under?
Ooh, over.
Is cereal a soup?
No.
If you were going to introduce Nerf guns into the sport of curling, how would you do it?
The handle would have a flat bit on it, and as it went down and the team was sweeping it, I could hit that flat bit, and if I got a dart to stick, I could move it 1 foot further or 1 foot shorter.
If an opposing team stole your curling broom, any team in the world, who did it?
It's probably Dan and Casper, because we've been messing with each other for the last couple of years.
Fair enough. You get put in jail. What'd you do?
I did?
Yeah.
Probably broke into a food truck, went for a joyride, and ate a lot of food.
Fair enough. So my last question is, we had quite a controversy. Capybara?
Yeah, greatest rodent in the world and largest.
Boom!
That's with all of them. What?
We've had people argue that they don't even exist, they're not real.
What? It's like the most...
I know, right?
I mean, Bigfoot's real, but it's way more real than Bigfoot.
Right.
I've seen a capybara. I've physically seen one.
Rapid fire questions with Matt Hamilton. See you later.
We're back,
Is it
the
not-
2024
is it not
USA
right?
Curling Mixed Doubles National Championship. There's a shot of the crowd
We like
here
to
out on
have
the
the
ice
big,
in Traverse City. We've got seats out there and inside, of course. But Geving Shuster, our feature game here, they're up 4-3 on Vicky Persinger and Danny Casper. On the adjacent sheet, it's Kim Rhyme and Jason Smith taking a 3-2 lead into the 5th end against Matt and Becca Hamilton. So a couple of games with just a 1-point difference. I think they're probably both the same in terms of who has last rock as well. So Persinger Casper are going to feel pretty good, I think, Tyler, after getting down 4-0 early. Probably feel pretty good about it starting the 5th end down just 1.
They played a really solid 4th end to give themselves a chance to get a steal, to get back in it. Again, go back to that call by Shuster on that short angle run in the house. Again, if you make it, you're in fantastic position. But if they move the guard in that spot, you're never giving up more than 1 no matter what. You're up by 3 with the hammer in that spot. Still a good chance you score. And you got to play scoreboard in that situation. Now, 1/2 miss, a good make by Vicky coming back there for that freeze. And it's a 4-3 game out of the break when you should at least be up by 2 with hammer in this situation.
Worth noting that Shuster and Geving have elected to use their power play here in the 5th end. Not actually a time we see it a ton, but what do you think of that decision, Tyler?
Well, this is something John has done not just all week, but does normally in mixed doubles curling. And did my crack research on John's power plays in mixed doubles, and his competitors said that it's not unusual at all for John to use it in the 5th coming out of the break. He likes using it earlier, getting the momentum back on their side, especially after something like that.
And a bit of a play that we see in traditional 4-person curling, a team with last rock here. They're drawing to the wing behind the tee line, executed by Aileen Geving. And here comes Casper, showing the out-turn draw.
Room right now. Line's getting better. Straight.
Okay, T, it's a little heavy. Back 4, back 8.
Okay, really close still.
Back 8.
Oh. 4, 6,
Needs this to dig as it's
dig
curling.
a little bit as it, no, it's into some fresh stuff there.
Not a bad shot.
Bounces a little more than he'd like.
Yeah, just a little less weight, and that's pretty good.
What's that?
And the guard in that situation, Dean, is a shot you see from teams behind far more often than not. When you're trying to get a steal in mixed doubles, as in men's or women's curling or any curling discipline, the center guard is your best chance of doing it. So they'd like to eventually be able to get to that stone, but preferred to play the freeze first on that rock under the corner and try to play under the center later in the end.
Shuster will try to dig this one out. It's available.
Close. Yep.
And just that little bounce off on Casper's draw makes a big difference.
Gotta get by the guard.
Whoa!
Guard's coming up fast. No, he's by it now. Now it needs to curl a little bit, actually. Well done there by Shuster.
Control.
Just grazes the red place stone.
Can you make the roll that way?
Yeah, we kind of have to go this
The
way.
2001 Olympic Trials participants.
Roll like
Olympic qualification participant.
I mean, can we roll to
Makes a
frozen on
wonderful
theirs or
shot
what?
there.
No, they're back by this much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't mind center. Then roll to center then.
Okay.
You know, it says a lot about a person's accomplishments when you have to go back to 2001 to find an Olympic trials they didn't win.
I was just about to mention that. Yes, it's quite a run John's been on when it comes to representing the United States at the Olympic Games.
It wouldn't be funny if if he hadn't gotten so many of them.
He doesn't have a lot of participation trophies.
No, he doesn't.
Casper set that back maybe just a hair and just grazes it, removes one red, but doesn't save a shooter.
Avoid hitting one of our rocks if I run.
Sounds like he was a little in-out with
but
that
that's
release.
They're only out right now, but we're just taking 2.
And now it's a question of tactics and how aggressive you want to play this if you're Geving and
If
Shuster.
I go in there and they freeze, if I stay above the tee line, and then we peel. But, I mean, are they just going to give us 2 and hit a wide one? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking.
I mean, I could throw it open where they have to make a hit and roll. No, I'm talking open, like not quite around the guard.
Oh, with the out turn.
Right, or with the out turn. I could probably just try to throw it, try to take edge 12 and try to sit here where they'd have to hit and roll, as opposed to going buried.
Yeah, I
just don't
like
wanna give
that
him,
call.
I don't want to
John-
throw it back pin and feel like an idiot.
What
that's all.
about like going to the other side?
I mean, that's fine and dandy, but we're letting him go around the center guard, but they got to make it, right? To not give up
Right.
3 or 4. All right, we'll just go where you just went.
Letting him talk all the way through it first, but Dean, John's talking about throwing this as a come-around draw initially, but not to buried,
15.
to
off,
probably
right
edge with the guard, so it's tough to get underneath. But if you throw under the center guard, there really isn't a
Right
big
off,
area you can throw it
Don't
to
even look
where
at
it
it.
doesn't
Look
give
away.
your opponent an out. If it's biting
Look
8s or
away.
even high in the 8
'Cause you
foot,
don't
they
wanna
could
see
draw
it goes up
around
into
it.
the house.
If it's in the 4 foot, they could freeze to it, which essentially kills the other 2 stones too.
Oh, is this gross?
If it's through,
Rock has some
Then-
pace. All strategy goes out the window, so a miss there by Shuster. Might have rushed everything a little bit after all the discussion.
I liked his original call of drawing like to the top 8s mostly open.
With the out turn.
Yeah.
Now Casper will try to.
Yeah.
So Casper will play the out turn draw now.
So out turn freeze attempt
It might be heavier
from
than
Casper.
the last one.
This hasn't gotten over the center line yet, so
Saying it might be heavier than the last one, and the last one was too heavy, so
this one might be chasing John's rock.
suddenly neither male player in this mixed doubles matchup can find the rings.
And John Landsteiner, it's always faster after the break.
We say
You
that
know.
apparently every webcast, Tyler. So
Yes,
why
we
let
do.
this one go by without mentioning it?
I don't think I've missed one this week or at men's and women's nationals or last year's tournaments.
We should invite people in the comments to say if they really would like us to stop. If it's no and now. But
I'm not
it's-
going to listen if
no.
they say it anyways.
You're going to carry on.
Well, see, and I've mentioned this before, every game we played that had a break
Or peel and just take our
between either the 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th ends,
yeah.
I would
Let's go.
remind Steiner to be annoying. I do it on purpose. Partially because
not trying to
sometimes
full
maybe
bury,
you
I'm
do
only trying to
forget,
half
but I
bury
would
and be
always
like
tell
half
him,
4 foot.
Steiner, it's faster after the break. And he'd say, thanks, Ty, and that's the end of it. So I'm still annoying him from a distance, no matter what. This is my platform to do that. Whether people enjoy it or not,
Give it a little
it's
bump
for
though,
me.
so careful.
And
I'd like-
Steiner just texted ding. He's he's aware.
I'd like someone to explain the scientific reason why the mop increases speed,
We want to be wide open sitting here right now.
or
What do we
just
got?
the ice tech reason.
What do we
It's
got?
life's
I don't
great
want it to throw
mysteries,
anymore,
Dean.
so
It's
let's
just
just
some
leave it
things
open.
we'll never understand.
This is going to slide to the back of the house.
That's not bad.
Doesn't really change enough anything.
So
except
now
for,
sitting
like,
3,
kind
that
of
rock being
giving him
open,
2.
Dean, in the back of the 8 foot is not a bad thing.
It's a hard shot to
If
give
that
him
was
2.
behind the center guard, then a freeze could be made to kill the end.
Decision time here for Persinger Casper.
They're running a yellow in, so
You could freeze on the rock under the corner and outcount all 3, I
then if we're
believe.
here, at
You
least
can
we're
go
going
under
to
the
there.
center, but you just can't let it peek out either
And
way.
over curl it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to play the draw in a second. Well,
Okay, that's fine.
I feel like we should play this, but I know I'm not
Which do you like more here, Dean? You like going under the center, or do you like freezing on the one under the corner guard?
Well, I think I like the corner guard. Maybe try to. That seems to be the easiest way to get a force to me.
Force
but
is great here,
the
too.
force is great. I think you could also play that in-turn come around and make things difficult, but
Make it good. Over curl it a little bit.
Yeah, if we can.
it's
get a
interesting. I find in mixed doubles, you know, you're still everyone's still feeling their way through ends a little more, and that may never change. As we play it more, you would think it would. But I find people are feeling their way through it more than in the 4-person game. So it looks like Vicky's playing the out-turn draw around the corner. They talked about having it over curl a bit.
Yeah, they're playing around the center, all or nothing. Still gliding right now.
T, no.
Casper's saying top 4. Now he's audible to T.
That line's just fine.
Hard,
It's all a
girl.
matter of weight.
Hard!
Wants to bury it.
Not bad, but would have liked that to come out the other side a little bit on that line.
They did talk about hoping that it would over curl.
Yeah,
No.
now it's a hack
I
weight
think-
shot
Oh, you're
for
gonna
a
sit in the hack
possible
and see that
4.
You can see a quarter of this thing. I think this is that 85-90 hack we were talking about when we were practicing.
Yep.
Because you can
You
see.
saw Danny
I can only see a
use the
That's
term knifing there, trying to get that rock to finish. That's
think
one
you're
where I
taking
think
edge
you got to
4 foot,
stick with
and
still
you're throwing
the
a 90.
the
The
horizontal
traditional
broom to try to have that carry while you're finishing
You
it
like
too,
that?
because you
Broom
need to go for a
position.
little distance.
There's a big chunk under here. So
What's that?
edge 4 foot. Yeah.
With a 90.
I like that.
Okay.
So I think from the hack, Aileen can see a thin quarter. So not an easy shot playing this with hack weight. They were talking 385 backline or 390 backline to hog split.
Yep.
Weight's perfect.
Schuster likes the weight, but he's on it early.
Whoa!
That line looks pretty
Line
good.
does look pretty good now.
Curl.
It's
Can't
going to get the rock out. It's a matter if it's going to stay.
Is she going to get enough of it? Yes, she will, and that's going to be for 3, I believe, at least 2, possibly 3.
3.
And it is for 3. Well done by Aileen Geving.
Yeah, red.
3 for Geving Schuster. That makes the score
Side, this side.
7-3 after 5
Looks
ends.
like it really wanted to go for a quick second.
We'll be right back with the 6th end in just a moment. All right, we're back. 6th end action. You saw the Traverse City, Michigan. Well, here, first I'll give you the score. 7-3, Geving Schuster over Persinger Casper. Rhyme Smith, we'll update that in a moment, but right now we still have that as 3-2 in favor of Rhyme Smith over Matt and Becca Hamilton. Traverse City has been a terrific host for us this week, not only the facility but the community. We've certainly enjoyed haven't had much time away from the rink, Tyler, but when we have, we've certainly enjoyed it. I would suggest to anyone to consider this as a destination at any time of the year. It's
only
obviously
like
especially
T-line.
popular in the summer.
I can say as somebody that's been here multiple times before this, Dean, I was really excited to see that the championship was coming to Traverse City. Wonderful, quiet community with everything you need. Beautiful on the lake.
Beautiful
on the shores of Lake
nature.
Superior, yeah.
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan, thinking of home, I think.
You are.
Been on the road a lot.
People in Michigan will tell you, well, not all, but many will say it's the best lake. So, you know.
I will say I haven't messed that up in the intro one time this week. It was always Lake Michigan. But, yeah, wonderful people here. You know, we got out in the town a little bit just to see some of the spots downtown. And, yeah, always a fun place to spend a little extra time. And you can't say that about everywhere you go in the curling world with all the places we've gone for tournaments over the years. But always happy to come back to Traverse City.
True enough. Persinger Casper utilized their power play here. 6th end, trailing 7-3. Certainly a good move. The best chance to use it here. But Aileen Geving answered with a great tick shot of her own on the corner guard and moved it into the rings.
We can tap it.
All right, I'm just going to throw it.
And with mixed doubles curling, you can't remove any rocks from play, whether they're guards or in the house, for the first 3 throws of each end. There is no tick zone. So center line, you can tick those at any point too. In the corner guard, you see that play almost every single time, especially from teams that are ahead in a mixed doubles game. So
the corner guard tick is almost easier because you don't have much far to go to lose your shooter.
If you can.
Pretty easy to punch. Not easy. It's still a difficult shot, and it was done really well by Aileen Geving, but it may be easier than the old center line tick of past.
Nice tap there from Shuster. Not so far that you could use it for a freeze. Dead behind that rock in the top of the 12-foot. And really, Dean, your goal is 3 or more in this end if you're Persinger or Casper. If they're able to get 2, they're not out of the game, but with only one end left where you have hammer and your opponent trying to score 1 or 2 of their own, running out of time, so 3 would be the target for this end.
So heavy here by Casper, and that's probably going to leave Shuster with being able to make a play on that.
No, we want to roll like a rock to the center.
Okay.
Although I don't think nose is the end of the world. A little surprised that John isn't having a go at the double here just to play scoreboard, but thinking they'll be sitting 2 already.
Yeah, and I guess probably doesn't want to risk ever clipping the guard and suddenly bringing a 3 into play. So he's going to hit and try to roll to the
I think I'm going to throw you like
towards the center.
I think 10-5 is fine.
Just the hit and stick for John. Would like to roll towards the middle.
This rock looks like it's curling early, but
hard all the way to it. All the way to it,
by
Aileen.
the guard,
Roll,
but
go!
it's going to roll that direction.
Okay.
So not the roll, the direction for the roll that he wanted. Casper will have essentially the same shot, but now freezing onto the Shuster, the Geving Shuster stone.
Maybe an opening now for Persinger and Casper, trying to find that 3-point end that they need.
It's not coming off the line yet.
Okay, top 4.
So
Should
weight,
turn over once it gets across the center.
Weight's a little better. He says top 4.
It's getting better.
Top of the
Stay close
4-foot.
to line. Straight.
Now
Back
he says
4
it's
T.
T.
Come on now.
Now back 4 T. Now it's starting to dig in.
Yep. Yep.
Now he's trying to hold for line a little bit.
A good shot by Danny. Really
well
good spot.
done. Shuster, though, looking at it, it does appear that Shuster is still line
So that's where,
1.
like, playing at this isn't necessarily that big of a deal.
Right.
I mean, I could still like play the same thing I just did, but it just makes it where that triple now that rock counts. Like getting rid of this rock like hurts us.
Like straight up.
So where do you put it then? Do you come?
Well, I could just straight guard this right now too. What do they do?
Sure.
Like I guard this, they have to play an angle run for 2.
Yeah.
Like I think if we could just throw a guard out here right now in front of this, like you got a guard because you can just barely see the inside, but I think we get a guard right here because they can't play the double on this side as long as we cover this side of it. I think.
Okay.
Let them try to come in here. We're shot rock right now.
I like it.
It's very obscure. I mean, I can see probably all of his rock, but it's still hard to get him all the way out of the house.
Yeah. Like
So
you said, it
Shuster
helps
sitting
them if they
shot
make
in the
contact with
8-foot is going to play a guard here.
Problem is, you have hot feet over here trying to throw a rock up in front of the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw I'm going to go out wide this way. Okay. So I'm going to go out to edge 12 and I'm going to try to throw it as least as I can
Yeah,
possibly
Schuster's
throw.
still being shot with that rock on the opposite side of the 8-foot. Allows him a little bit of leeway for what they want to call here.
43.
Okay,
What he suggested was he didn't want to lose that red stone
Yep, go ahead.
that Casper
Probably curl, Aileen. Curl,
or
Aileen.
froze
Curl,
on.
Aileen. Other side. Get over there and curl it. Need every inch.
wants it to curl. He's trying
Need
to
them all,
move
go!
this over.
Go, keep
Trying to have
going.
this finish.
Need more.
Should
go.
be all right, I
little
think,
more.
by the end.
Little more. Little more.
Good sweep
scrub.
by
That'll
Geving
go.
there. Really turned that one over.
Casper is going to have a look at it. Shuster was pretty confident it was his. He was shot.
I mean, you can throw this and hope that we have a shot for 3.
from the overhead, it really looked like it was red
Yeah.
fairly easily.
Try to go
Said that
here,
before and
they,
been
like,
wrong,
dig
though.
it, and we might have or if they just straight up.
You have an update from the adjacent sheet where that score is now 3-3 in that game between Kim Rhyme, Jason Smith, and
Just anywhere
Becca
buried,
and
I
Matt
guess.
Hamilton. 3-3 over there. And they're in the sixth end.
I think around. I'd rather around.
Go
Yeah.
around, but if you're short,
Yeah.
Looks like they're just drawing around, trying to score with their last two at worst. And Dean, there is a shot if it's still available on their last shot to hit that yellow into the red and spill both yellows in towards the 4-foot, where they'd outcount that one on the top of the 8s on the other side. Can't play it right now though, because they'd both very likely be wide open.
They could have a chance at that. You're right, and the yellow might could spring off the redstone a little closer to the center.
Back 4.
Casper
Can't
says
go.
it's T back 4, doesn't want to go yet.
close for when it comes off the line.
Okay, it's got to back 4.
Keep waiting for it to curl, but it's not happening. Go ahead.
It's turning now.
Go ahead,
Should
go
bury
ahead,
some.
go ahead,
Here
go,
comes
go,
the
go, go,
finish.
Go, 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 go. Keep going. Go, go, go.
That's fairly available for Aileen Geving
Yeah, I
now.
thought that would curl more too.
Yeah, the key will be sticking around with this shot now too, because again, if
I
that
know,
rolls
but you're just
out,
giving them 2 that way.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you also
they
can
will
just throw a
have
draw
that
and-
shot that we talked about, hitting their own
Like
yellow
this.
into
I
the
mean, we
got
got- I
on
got
that
14-6
on the
on
inside, hit about
Yeah,
3/4,
I mean,
and both of
I'm
them
fine with
should
you hitting
roll
it, but
in
I still think
towards the
draw's
4-foot.
Okay.
Their back button.
We know this.
You can even, as long as you get to most of it and they have to address our rock, as long as they're all kind of in this back one, I don't think there's any.
So after some conversation,
I think you
Shuster
can take
suggests the draw is the shot.
Just shy, probably.
Be a bit of a
That's where he was
surprise
at
here.
I didn't think he quite got out to edge 8, so.
Okay.
But I like edge 8. I see 15 toward
Throwing edge of 8, the draw. I think the logic there, I believe, John thinks that shot we're discussing is easier than some might expect.
This is that slower spot, though. How's the line looking?
Line's good. Curl, if anything.
It's all there. It's all there.
Rock
That's
has some
still-
curling to do.
Hasn't started turning yet. And again, the hog line is kind of the marker for that. If it hasn't started curling by then, it's trouble.
Definitely has some pace, and now there may be a shot for 3 for Persinger and Casper.
Well, there's definitely a shot for 3. I just don't. It's the same situation as earlier, Dean, where we talked about scoreboard
Yeah.
and trying to make sure you maintain the lead with simpler shots. And again, it's a draw. It's not like it's a really complicated, difficult shot. But if you make contact with that yellow stone, you're up 2 with hammer playing 7, no matter what.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking you throw
Now,
like a normal and
With that rock
unless you
going
think
by,
there's stuffing there isn't shot rock.
would we expect the draw to be relatively
Edge
close
draw?
there? Yes, but it's very unlikely they wouldn't at least make contact with that yellow stone. And now you have this shot for 3,
Think
giving
nice.
them an extra point that they shouldn't have had an opportunity to get.
So Persinger will try to tap her own onto the red stone, get some action on the yellow stone. She taps closer to
Yeah.
the button.
Yep, plenty of room.
And ideally, well, the goal here is to have both her shooter and the yellow stone in the 8-foot outcount that red stone at the top of the 8-foot on the left-hand side as we look at it. Persinger, oh no, wait, I don't know what she's doing.
I'm so surprised they're
Okay.
not
They're
playing
just
it.
going to
Go a
play the
little bit.
draw
I
for
think
2.
you heard John say the same thing. She's just playing the draw. So apparently they didn't think that shot was there, but
Always straight.
I think it was worth a try. It's not an easy shot, but it was definitely there.
yeah, I'm really surprised at this too. I mean,
Fine,
the draw is going to be just fine for their second point, but
Really trying to chisel us enough to lie 3?
2?
2, yeah.
yeah,
So-
I think that was there. I don't know.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
I guess we'll
Persinger
go on.
makes the draw for 2. That makes the score
Nice shot, Vicky.
7-5 after 6 ends in favor of Geving and Shuster. We'll be back with the 7th end in just a moment.
Twin Cities Orthopedics is ready to go with more doctors, specialty services, and convenient urgent care locations. Ready, set, TCO.
We're back here, 2024 USA Curling Mixed Doubles Nationals. There's an update from the adjacent sheet, 3-3. Kim Rime, Jason Smith. Now it's 4-3 as we look at it. So the Hamiltons, man, they're tough in mixed doubles. They were down early, but they battled back to take the lead. Our game, Persinger Casper just scored 2 to close the gap, 7-5, but Shuster and Geving will have last rock here in the 7th end.
Take a look. Look. Still running.
I should note for people who are tired of the USA Curling videos we're showing here, those will be available or will be available for download in our content platform and can be tagged with your own club, especially the one about you can send to people who try to learn to curl at your club, follow up with a video.
We want to be all the way to this one. We want to be all the way to this one.
Okay.
I think you throw out turn.
Well,
Good freeze there from
Okay.
Vicky Persinger to start this 7th end. And Dean, this is all-out steel mode now for Vicky and Danny. No choice. A force isn't the end of the world, but they're going to be going as hard as they can at getting a steal.
There's Aileen Geving with her first in the 7th. Tyler, you've done most of the games here. Is anybody not throwing 1 and 5, the female player and the male player throwing 2, 3, 4?
Not that I've seen at any point. No switches mid-game. No starting the game that way either. It's been the same for every single team that we've seen throughout the tournament.
I know, and then when I added a little...
I've said on other webcasts, I think there might be room for a rule change there where you have to alternate each end, which might be interesting.
You know, my issue with that would be having to remember to do it.
Fair enough.
If it was me.
Yeah.
Not to, maybe for them, they're sharper than I am with that type of stuff.
As I've said before, the original idea was they thought people would switch frequently, but that never developed. Well, settling in at the back again here. Casper not happy with himself after that.
I wonder if it's still peel anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, going away, the odd ends, Dean, the miss has been deep.
Or short of freeze.
We have seen a few of them going back
I could
in the
probably
even
try
ends
to
too,
run it
like
at
the
one
previous
we just-
ends.
Because I think it goes off our back when and out, and then we just have 2 rocks. But
I don't think we want anything up there.
yeah, I'll just peel it off.
So after some discussion, Shuster elects to play the peel.
Ooh, mama.
Not his best delivery, but it should work.
Whoa.
A little artistry from John, but good result. It's a 4 in the books.
Yeah, when you slide a little wobbly at a peel, sometimes it's best just to make sure you throw it at the stone. You slide wide, throw it at it.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can peel all the way to my last.
No.
And smart again with Shuster now discussing with Geving about when they have to go in. They don't believe that they can peel on John's last stone too, because then there's a freeze thrown by Persinger and Casper on top of that rock that's on the back of the button where the pin won't be accessible. So John's saying, we're going to have to beat them in on my last stone. But this one's already going in.
This one's going to be right there, and that will give...
And get this one flying out, we're going to be sitting in front of a pair of pants. And probably shot rock, to be honest. I mean, the air is on that side.
I think Danny was throwing the guard there and ended up 10 to 12 feet
You get better
deep,
action if I throw the
Danny frustrated with his draw game at the moment. Now we'll see John Shuster blow this house up.
At the very least, he's cracked up his teammate.
At the very least, he's enjoying himself, which is refreshing, actually. So,
and sometimes all you can do is laugh in those situations. You know, you throw it so bad that it has to be funny, even though you're furious with yourself.
Let her go.
Shuster.
Okay.
Well, he'll get rid of just one and leave his shooter there. So an unconventional end so far because of some misses, but still a chance here for Persinger and Casper.
Yeah, they haven't played with a ton of pace. Be curious to
little
see
more
how much
than my
time
guard
they have
weight.
left right now.
I did hear a between-end discussion with Casper and Persinger about how much time they had. It's funny, Danny says just a little less weight. I think he said.
Then the guard that was throwing the previous shot.
Back 4. Back 8. Back 12 even. Back 8. Back 8.
Hard curl, top stop. No roll.
That's actually not terrible where that ends up. Now you're sitting 3, and that red stone no longer an issue for you.
It's hard to not leave him lying 2 unless I can smash this side here.
I've been
Or
told
leave
by
this one back here, but as long as I catch this one and get
Blake
it off the
Hagberg
back,
that
like-
Wood and Cott switched their order
But then they're sitting
mid-game
there.
Well, they're
against
still
them
not
to try and
sitting 2,
generate
there's
some
nothing
offense
out
when they
here
were
for you to
behind.
not
So
have a and we got
didn't
one
see
touch
that
in
on
the
our
4-foot.
games.
Wasn't
I
a
just gotta make
feature
sure I
game, but
get
it
enough
did
that-
happen once out.
I mean, they might
thanks,
be sitting
Blake,
3,
for
but
the
there's
heads up.
In the field
nothing
of
scary.
play.
So. There's just no way to do it to not leave them sitting 2 by hitting nose.
Right.
So,
Out-turn.
yeah. This is going to have a little bit of pace on it, so be ready.
So John Schuster
You
suggesting
got to hit about a thin half.
like to do is not leave them lying 2. So they'll have some pace.
Whoa, whoa, close. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And needs to get up a little
Spin 'em out
bit.
there. Okay.
Well, he's left them lying 2.
You can just go here. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we
if I
don't.
show her this, it's not great though either.
No, you want to show her this side.
Okay. She's gonna draw, but
Even a guard's okay. I mean,
So an unconventional end, Tyler, here for mixed doubles, but actually now a chance for Persinger and Casper to steal and perhaps make Geving throw against a couple or 3.
you good
Yeah,
with
they
this?
don't want to get
yeah, I mean, anywhere from a tight guard to like top 12. I mean,
Yeah,
deep enough that you could clear 2 easily for
yeah,
Geving.
yeah.
I'd rather tend
But
to
not
do
so
it.
high that the draw is easy to make. I think you're looking maybe bite top 4, somewhere in there for your ideal spot.
Yep.
So that's a dangerous shot then
we want a chest
for
touch
Geving.
center, right?
If they were to play it back, it could jam onto that red in the side of the 4-foot too. I think biting 4-foot, touching center line, maybe a third of a rock across the center line is your best spot.
Good ad.
Okay, 3.
Be very
Persinger, her last shot here in the 7th end. They've
Little
got
light, 2, 3,
some life here.
3.
good. Always straight. Early
Heard
draw.
3.
Line if you can. Line if you
Okay.
can.
Yeah, they're not trying to bring this
Little
deeper
heavy,
in. I
top
think
12,
you want
top
to.
Way over curling.
That's
top
really
12,
tight.
top 8, but
Okay, it's
over
already
curling,
there.
I think, is the bigger concern.
Stop, stop. Let it stop.
Yeah, that's one you don't want to cross. That leaves the out-turn
Well,
draw.
it's-
Ooh, I don't think it's touching the
Yeah,
backside.
you also can just
Like that. This one's deeper. I think it
hit,
goes on.
but I don't know. I
Can
think
I lose on both?
no,
you
this
nose,
one's gonna drag in here, but that's
you're
why I'm
fine to
like,
score.
I think this goes under
That's
here
what I
now.
mean, like that one will stay.
Yeah. So like
No,
I,
but that's-
I know what you're saying, but
I'm almost certain it does. Yeah. Yep.
John thinks it doesn't jam on that red.
Just to hit a quarter of it.
I
Isn't
mean,
it
you hit any what you
still
can see, I
for
think
one
it's fine.
anyways, though. I
Like, I
mean,
don't think you
that
have to, like,
drags on those
scrape
2
it,
to the
scrape it,
back
scrape it.
red.
Yeah, it is. It will be just for 1.
What happened there?
A little surprised again that they're not
What's
just
going on here?
playing
Oh, they
heavy
thought the end
draw
was over.
or
Okay.
something down to the nose of that stone because it's for the same amount of points.
I think half rock is plenty good here.
Yeah.
All
So
right, so they'll play the half rock hit here and hope that the 1 rock will jam at the back for sure. I think it depends if they clear the other one. Geving, last shot. They've got a 2-point lead.
Hard, yep.
Schuster on it out of her hand.
It's really tight.
This looks tight. This is narrow. Can
John's
Schuster
pushing
push
it
it
out.
go under there. Oh, it does.
And it does. That's why he's been to 5 Olympics, I guess. But there you go. You can sweep 2, Tyler. 1 red. That'll make the score 8-5 after 7 ends. It's a good time for us at USA Curling. On behalf of USA Curling, I'd like to take a moment to thank the curling community for your support of both the sport and this national organization. I'm humbled every time I'm at an event by how much people are willing to devote their time and energy to improving both the sport and our organization. It's much appreciated. And on behalf of USA Curling, I thank all in the curling community for all you do to help grow the game and support the national organization. We're back here. Oh, we've got an update over from the adjacent sheet. It's now 6-4, Kim Rime and Jason Smith over Matt and Becca Hamilton. So Hamilton's will have the hammer in the 8th, but Rime and Smith with a 2-point lead.
Probably reintroduce us here at the end, too. I muted myself.
Back here with Tyler George in our feature game.
And I'm here with Dean Gemmel, USA Curling CEO and play-by-play extraordinaire, CEO in his off time.
Timed out a little heavy.
Really, this is his passion here in the booth, and we're so thankful to have him here in his craft, in his comfort zone.
I will admit I do enjoy it, but trying to do less of it, let's put it that way. But, yeah, I do enjoy it. This rock should over-curl, I think. We'll settle in just below the tee line.
And not a bad start to the end for Persinger and Casper with where that rock ends up. Now that in-turn draw around to the top of the button, probably where you want to be.
It's like back button. Turning to your top button, that's all right. Yeah.
That's right, Danny. That's the right spot.
Top button is what Vicky Persinger is looking for.
A little surprised they're playing the out turn as opposed to the in, if it's just the one that they're more comfortable with. But if you leave a piece open on the in-turn side, it plays into that jam. And now this one a little tight on line, and looks like it's really got to go for weight.
It's a combination of light and tight, which rarely works out particularly well.
16-5, you heard from Shuster there. That's not going to get there.
Actually chaps off to cover the Shuster stone in the forefoot.
And still one more throw, Dean, before they can peel, open things up, and try to play their all-defense mode. So for now,
really have a good double.
The best defensive shot would be right to the top of the button.
One, too, I think can be okay.
What about like half onto ours?
Well, that just makes it where they have a double off of ours.
Sure.
So if it's short, I'm fine with it. But if it's in there, I think it probably is to the yellow. But I just really want to keep this in front of the tee line.
Right.
Because that way I could maybe throw the double peel, and then we're just hitting out lone rocks to guarantee we don't give up more than 3. So I think you're good here. I'll try to throw you 25.
So they've talked through the myriad outcomes here, and Shuster will play the in-turn draw.
22.
And Dean, this is all playing.
Plenty of room. Plenty of room.
To taking the position away from Persinger and
Going
Casper.
curling now.
Because
That's
if
good.
John doesn't
Line's
play
good.
this shot,
probably curl though.
they're absolutely playing it.
Go ahead then. Curl
so
and
you
go.
get the top 4s.
Curl
It's just
and
making
go,
it
Aileen.
that much tougher for Persinger and Casper
Go!
to score their 3.
Just 8.
Hard. Keep going.
That's not a great spot there.
Do you try and top
Ends up
this
just
now?
top 8.
Yeah, I mean,
We're happy to report we've got more viewers tonight than at any time throughout so far, so appreciate all that, and hope that everybody viewing enjoys the fact that this webcast is available, thanks to our partners at Curling Stadium.
And zero surprise, really, with the Gemmel bump in the booth.
Yeah, that's famous.
Expecting those types of numbers.
I
right
came
out of
in
the
5
gates.
minutes before the game started as a fill-in, but nonetheless, we'll go with it. Casper playing the in-turn draw.
Mine's a little on the tight side.
Okay, wait,
No, we're
should be
okay,
close.
we're okay.
He's trying to come around that rock in the top of the 8 foot.
Really running,
A little heavy.
It's really running.
Need to
Back
get this to turn over and die.
No, I think you just let it grab. Let it grab, let it grab.
Well, did dig in there.
Not bad.
Not bad with that, where it ended up.
Good shot.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I mean,
good
I
shot
can see
by
some,
Danny.
but I don't know that's
Struggled a little with his draw weight today, but
I mean, right
when
now,
it matters
as stands, I
most,
can play the
makes a really good one.
What about
run.
running the red?
I mean, if I hit the red on the nose, like I can make the run double. A little bit high side, like it goes into the pocket and we're sitting frozen in front of them. Like where
I
my
like
shooter's
that.
going to be is not great, but I think it's probably what I should play.
I like that.
I mean, we could also just guard for our lives, but they can make this long run right now for 3, right? So
2:35 and counting remaining for Geving and Schuster.
I can always
2:09
make
for
double if I
Persinger and
happen to see
Casper.
double clear these, okay. I just had to talk myself.
Both teams with their
I'm gonna go-
timeouts
I'm,
remaining as
up,
well
up,
if they need to use them.
So close to nose.
So he's going to take on this long run. He did briefly entertain, as he said, guarding for his for their life, but certainly I think this is probably the better call.
Shooter, a little
Got to
bit.
come
shooter
up
slide.
a little bit.
That's fine.
Yeah, things getting a little dicey now for John and Eileen.
I think that's pro side, so
Yeah.
Can you not get all the way around here and get to
I'm glad we didn't clip that, I think.
No,
Get to
you're
there.
looking like that, but
okay?
you might be able to get here by going this way, but that's not
Yeah,
super
and then they're still
helpful.
playing that
Do you
red.
want to play another one right here?
Yeah, try to.
Okay. Are you good with that? It's a short run, but
Yeah. My only thought is just play the slash double, and I guess that's
No.
too easy of a double for them.
you can play this right now. Can we call a timeout, please?
Timeout.
Timeout.
We can't see the clocks right now, but I just sensing that they're short on time, Tyler.
Oh yeah, we just got the view on the previous shot.
Oh, he did. All right. I missed it. I was dozing, I guess, Tyler. So, yeah, there we go.
Unfortunately, because I just said it 30 seconds ago, I
if you
had to
wanna
mention
be
it
like-
now.
It's
Unfortunately, I
almost
wasn't
better to be
muted
just,
at the
like,
time.
right behind it so that it maybe goes. I guess then it's still spilling kind of in the way, and then we
And we're gonna need a miss, obviously.
and then we draw.
Yeah.
Because like you move that red now, it's like easy double in
Yeah, we
game.
can't
On the
move it
adjacent
here.
sheet, the
Try
Hamiltons
to tuck
are
around it a
lying
little bit.
3
Good
with
try.
2 rocks to go.
I think we got to be just what your first
I think
call.
it's safe to say it's tough to put the Hamiltons away, isn't it,
Right.
Tyler?
It did
In
curl
mixed
along
doubles?
past the guard, so-
Yeah,
Ton
I
of
mean,
experience.
It's definitely
Okay. I think
Never
this is
give up
good.
attitude.
there. Okay, yeah. Is it best
Their
to like
backs
be,
against the walls when they're at
I
their
mean, no,
best.
We're getting picky, but like closer to the red so that
I
it.
think as much as you can curl, the better, right?
Yeah. Just don't want to give them an easy. Yeah.
They're
I
gonna
mean, they'll have something
they're gonna
straightforward,
have
but.
something.
Time a little tight now.
Casper is going to try to essentially throw the shot he just threw, this come around. He's got one less rock distance to deal with because of his stone he put there originally, but I'd like to get as close to the nose of it as he can.
This is a really precise draw here to try to get around that stone in the top of the 8-foot on the same line as the previous one.
And you don't want to hang it out there and give John Schuster an
close.
easy crack at least
Little
a
more
double.
weight than the last.
This
Come
looks
down
like
now.
lots of weight right now.
Back
Hasn't
four.
started curling yet. It's at least that.
Go around it.
Straight then, straight, hard. Hard.
Now we gotta get the shooter past it.
Go. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay.
I don't think that's a terrible result,
I mean,
actually.
I can just
we
smash
needed
that
that.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, cause this double doesn't stay for them. I think we just hit it. Like, I think rolling out.
I actually kind of like where that ended
I
up.
think so.
I think so too.
I mean, again, this.
If you're
they happen to
forcing
make this
them to
run
play that right now,
and stick it. I
peel
mean, it
that
is what it
stone
is.
out,
You're gonna
they're
have to
not
take a
playing
tap
the red
against four is
in.
the only issue with it. Whereas I can tap ours on the
You're
nose
putting
right now.
Geving and Schuster up against
I don't know.
possibly the loss
I think it just peels.
on that shot on their
That's a
last. They're only
super
going to get
long
one
run back.
more.
If they don't make it, you're just throwing a draw to end the game.
So
too,
with
so
this
it's like-
setup,
I think I just peel it.
Okay.
that's really not a bad spot.
Long run.
You force them to play a shot away from your counters in the 4-foot.
Yeah.
So the call is to just peel this rock out. And we'll see how that turns out, Tyler, but here's the peel on the way.
Yep, hard. Hard! Good.
Should be
Good,
just
good,
fine.
good. Oh, yeah, Aileen.
If you could ever play the out turn,
I think one more.
either with the run or all the way around, tap that stone.
So they're going to try it once more and probably leave Vicky Persinger with the angle run for the tie. So we are hearing the crowd applauding. It sounds as though the Hamiltons, Matt and Becca Hamilton, scored 3 to tie the game. That game will go to an extra on the adjacent sheet.
You could also stick that on that.
Okay.
Clock's still running here for Casper and Persinger.
I kind of like this. The run.
Okay.
Like forward.
Sure.
With
I'm just gonna go.
49 seconds left, they don't have another timeout, so Casper will need to get this one off, and then Persinger won't have a lot of time on her last.
Well, close.
She's playing the quiet angle run in there.
Curl. Straight. Whoa, straight.
Oh, it's
Whoa.
Just a fraction
just a sweep
high.
call. Now it's an open hit, or open double for Geving
Timeout.
to end this game.
Timeout.
You can see that whole stone and a little space, I think, Dean.
Just nose.
All day. You don't even have to get to nose, really. You gotta get kind of close to nose, but not that close to it. You hit 2/3, they go flying.
Casper's very close to that. They were on and off it, but and then needed to come up another fraction of an inch.
Take your time.
Now Geving can finish the game with a double.
You got an inch inside nose to here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hedge rock.
Do you throw and peel? Or
Yeah,
you
just
throwing-
want to take your time, stay in your normal routine here.
Yeah. Edge or just
Last shot,
I think 2/3
eighth
job
end
done too.
for Aileen Geving and John Shuster, looking for cross it just a fraction, make the double, win the game.
Nose hit, good enough here. Aileen likes it out of her hand. Looks pretty good.
Ah, girl.
That's perfectly done.
There it is. That'll be the double and call it 2 for Schuster, or an X. But whatever the case, it's a victory for Aileen Geving and John Schuster over Vicky Persinger and Danny Casper. Entertaining game, Tyler, with a few misses and a few great
I
shots.
can't believe you hit that
Back
rock
and
where you
forth
hit it.
battle. Obviously,
You were on like the
ton of
nose
talent
or
on
inside
both
of nose,
teams,
and
and
it faded from like
a couple of questionable decisions
Like-
that made things
like
interesting
I mean, from the
on both sides of the
the
equation.
8-foot
Both
coming
teams
this
probably
way,
would say that they
like
could
that thing
execute
faded,
better
like,
than they did.
almost a
If you're
full
John and Aileen, it's good to know that you still have another gear for the next few games if you make the finals as well. But for the semi tomorrow, they feel good about how they played, but they know they can play better too.
So Persinger and Casper's run ends here at the 2024 Mixed Doubles Nationals. A new combination, had a pretty good run. Certainly, I think they'll agree there's some things for them to work on as a team. But I could see that this combination improving, Tyler, at Mixed Doubles.
I think their personalities mesh well, and you pay so close attention to that with a two-person team, obviously, because there isn't anybody else on the squad. You see Jason Smith wandering by here, so it looks like that game may have ended.
Well, it looks like
in the
we had it
eighth
wrong.
end.
It didn't go to an extra. The Hamiltons scored in enough to win the game. In the as I peer out, they scored 3 to win the game, and they scored 3 in the last end to beat Rhyme and Smith. So Matt and Becca and Matt Hamilton, they'll advance as well. Geving Schuster advance, and who waits for them will have the teams that got a bye directly to the semifinal because they finished at the top of the pool. So that would be TC Dropkin finished at the top of the pool. They went directly into the semifinals. And Taylor Anderson and Ben Richardson went directly into the semifinals. So here's how tomorrow lines up. TC Dropkin take on our winners that we just saw in our feature game. They take on Geving Schuster in one semifinal. It's all single elimination from here on out. And Matt and Becca Hamilton, after scoring 3 to win the game against Kim Rhyme and Jason Smith. They'll take on the team of Taylor Anderson and Ben Richardson. So that's what we're looking at tomorrow. We've got a semifinal followed by the final. So join us tomorrow. There's the crowd exiting the ice area. We had 2 private groups out in the ice tonight, but some good curling. We'll look forward to some more great games tomorrow as we get down to the final 4 teams, mixed doubles nationals, trip to the Worlds on the line. Thanks, Tyler George, and please join us again tomorrow.